So welcome to this week's big review. And first, a little preamble. One of the nice things about having the Samplecast to myself with no advertising and no sponsors is that it leaves me free to choose exactly which products I want to include in each episode of the show. So it's true that I'll usually try and cover the biggest releases each week, but sometimes if there's a library from a smaller developer that comes along and I like the sound of it, I can give it just as much attention and perhaps shine a light on an up-and-coming team in the process. So this week's a good example, as I'm going to be reviewing Autumn Choirs from Sound Aesthetic Sampling, which you can pick up directly from their website or via Contact Hub. The first thing I want to let you know about this library is that it's a really good deal. It's currently on offer at £9 and the full price is £15. So let's be honest here, neither of those price points are going to bankrupt anyone. On to the specifics. This runs in the full version of Contact 5.5.2 and above. It's just over half a gig in size. It comes with 62 samples and over 160 different preset NKI files. The main content of Autumn Choirs is field recordings of wind and nature, rustling leaves, that sort of thing. And these samples are hosted in a dual layer engine which you can add lots of effects and sequencing to. The interface is nice and simple with browsing and drop-down menus for the samples. You've got morphing controls in there, dials for the ADSR, stereo width and filtering controls as well. The sequencing page controls the morphing between the two sounds with up to 128 steps and adjustable rate. And then there's a separate effects page with 12 different Contact effects, and this includes 12 bespoke convolution effects as well. So first, the good stuff. This is a nicely laid out instrument with some lovely sounds. Although there's only 62 actual samples, the many presets give a great idea of how these can be manipulated into many different uses, from textures to pulses to plucks to a little bit of percussion as well. There's a lot of variety here. Some sounds of the presets are quite similar, but I guess that's to be expected with so many. I do like the simple stereo width and filter controls, and the FX are just about complex enough to dial in quickly and produce effective changes, especially the various convolution reverbs, which I found rather nice. So there's nothing really to complain about here, especially for the extremely low price point, but I will point out a few things which could have been handled a little better. Something odd is definitely going on with the source samples in that there are essentially two different sets of them, one original and one bonus set, and these are only available in two different kinds of instruments. It would have been nice to be able to combine these in some of the instruments. You can't adjust the levels of each layer to 0 so that you can hear just one layer, and this has to be done with the ADSR knobs, and even then you can't make a layer absolutely silent as far as I can tell. There's also no way to reorganize the various effects, and you have to click around a bit to turn each one on and off. However, all of these things I've mentioned, they're very small complaints in the grand scheme of things. For around £10, this is the kind of product that's useful to have in your back pocket to provide shifting, dusty textures, and I'm sure that if I ever get asked to write minimal cues for independent film, that sort of thing, Autumn Choirs is going to be a library that I'll be reaching for. Thank you so much for watching. That's just a small taste of the Samplecast, a weekly podcast and YouTube show for sample library geeks and plugin enthusiasts. You can find out more information at thesamplecast.com. Don't forget to subscribe.